Difficulties is always my biggest thing here. So we're going to do today, starting off on our back. And we're going to just lay here in just a quick little mini connection with our breath. If your lower back falls, you can always bend your knees so the soles of your feet are together or on the mat. And then you have your hands down by your side, or if you'd like, you can have your right hand on your belly, your left hand on top of your chest. Slight little tuck of your chin. If you want, you can also put a blanket underneath your head, even do a cervical roll, which I'll give you an example. If you're curious what I refer to as cervical roll, you can get a little towel or something like that, roll it up. Have it so it's right underneath your neck, that little funnel cervical thing, and then persevere. If you don't want to put too much stress onto the cervical roll, so that's just an option. And just take your breath here and just connect. You can either do a nice little prayer and gratitude, set your intention. Feel your belly rise and fall underneath your hand. Perhaps your breath feels like the ocean waves. You can feel the ebb and flow. Now, if you like, you can bend your knees if your legs are out straight. We're going to bring our knees to our chest, hug it slightly, rock a little bit side to side. And then you're going to place your feet up toward the sky. So we're going in a happy baby, and this is going to make sense later on when I share the Bible verse with you. So you can go in happy baby. And again, you can either have your hands by your ankles, if your hands can actually go onto the sides of your feet, or for those that want to do those yoga toes, you can actually put your fingers in between those toes. So talk about that. We mentioned how as your toes can get spread out, that's going to help you as we continue to age. Your toes actually help us with our balance. So if you have your fingers in between your toes, or just the tips, sometimes it's really hard to get your full fingers in between your toes. You can do the tips of your fingers because they're definitely thinner. It just allows you to be a little bit more aware of how tight your toes may be, especially if you wear shoes. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not wearing shoes nearly as much as I used to, so you might be able to have a little bit more spread. So as you have that in there, you're slowly starting to open up your hips as well. All right, let's release those toes. We're going to keep the right knee to our chest. We're going to drop the left leg down. And if you have that strap nearby you, you want to reach your strap. Whoops, I have my strap. You reach your strap and place it around your right foot. Give me a strap, a scarf, whatever you may have. So your right leg is up. See how straight you can have it. It may be still at an angle. Your left leg can still be bent. That might actually feel a little bit better to your lower back. And as you inhale here, and as you exhale, slowly see if you can raise that right leg up, but keeping your right knee straight. So by keeping it straight, it may not be up too high. So we're going to slowly start stretching the hamstring. And then depending on what's on your own room's ceiling, look to see where your big toe is relative to the ceiling. And just take a couple breaths here as you breathe in and exhale. Now, if it's okay with you, you're more than welcome to extend your left leg straight. To feel what happens, you can feel a little bit more of a hip flexor. And when that happens, you'll notice like your right leg needs to actually go back further down toward the floor. That's completely fine. Don't force it. So allow it to go back down. And then do the same thing. Keep your right knee straight. Keep your eyes on where the big toe is relative to the ceiling. Keep breathing here. And then maybe a couple breaths later, you might be able to slowly pull your strap higher so that your right leg's higher. And everyone's going to be at a totally different time, allowing your body's muscles to slowly stretch. So we don't want to rip anything. We're just being in tune to our body, giving it some time. In fact, I was just doing some reading for the training that I'm going to be going to with Ayurveda, and they said slowness, the pace of slowness is actually best. And in fact, we live in a very frantic pace, and in nature, sometimes the world will tell us we need to slow down. And isn't that kind of true what we're facing right now? We are forced to slow down because we are missing what needs to happen in our own life. We are in balance with the rest of the world, and when we become imbalanced and the world changes, or this is how God's getting our attention, and we need to slow down. So a couple more breaths, and perhaps watch your big toe where it goes. If by chance you feel like it's opened up a little bit more, and you may be able to pull it up some. Now, a couple of little reminders. If you're pulling on your strap, are you holding tension in your shoulders? If so, see if you can relax your shoulders down, get those shoulder blades broad onto the ground, and then have maybe perhaps your elbows onto the floor so you're not reaching high. Some people may prefer high, that's fine, but just see what else can you relax. All right, so as your right foot is up into the sky, I want to slightly rotate, very slightly rotate that right heel to your left a little bit. So let's just rotate the right heel to the left. You can feel a little bit of stretch there, perhaps. Be kind. Just feel the difference there. If you need to make some kind of adjustment, that's completely fine. And then perhaps bring your actual right leg over the center line of your body just a little bit. So you're going to feel the stretch, you guys, IT band. Keep breathing. Slowly let your heel go back to center. And then allow your right leg to go to the right side. You may keep your strap in your right hand. And if you want, just to make sure you're actually going to stay, really use some of your core as well, you may want to either place your left hand on top of your left hip, or you might want to put it underneath your left bum and see if you can keep your pressure onto that bum as you open up your right leg. Again, option, you can always bend that left knee and have that sole of feet there if you feel like your lower back is a little bit feeling it. So a couple options. As the right leg goes out, you feel the stretch along that right hip flexor. Maybe feel a little bit of stretch along the inner groin as well. Can you relax that left shoulder? Can you continue breathing, or are you holding your breath? Slowly come back to center, bring your right leg back up. Bend your left knee, bend your right knee, and then we're going to switch out. So place your left foot in the strap, bring that right foot down, the knee still bent. And then see where your leg is when you straighten your left leg. So left leg straight, knees not bent. And then just check to see where your left toes are relative to your ceiling. Check to see if your head is at the point where your chin's not jutting upward. slightly elongating your neck, but you're not, putting any strain to it. And then can you have your shoulders kind of flush down to the mat, elbows maybe comfortable on there. And then as you take a couple of breaths, maybe perhaps you can raise that left leg higher. And perhaps maybe because the body's already indicating to the brain's already indicating to the body when you do it, it may seem a little bit more open, or maybe that side of your body is more open. So just awareness, no judgment. Take a couple breaths here, and maybe whenever you feel like it's ready, you may decide you can bring it up a little bit higher. Now at this point, you may want to straighten your right leg if that feels okay with you. You can always keep your right knee bent and keep your right heel on the ground. But if you want to straighten it, you'll notice as soon as that happens, your left leg wants to go back down. That's okay. Do that so that your left knee is not bent. So it has to do with the hip flexors as well. As well. And then we're going to go start back like what we were doing beforehand. So as we breathe in here, exhale, perhaps you can slightly invite that left leg up. You may feel a little bit more resistance, and that's just the muscles starting to stretch. Like in any yoga pose, if by chance you're experiencing any sharp shooting pain, numbness, or tingling, it's your body's way of asking you to back off from it. So please do so. And just, again, connect to your own body. So if you prefer, you can just see where your toes are relative to the ceiling. You do not get more yoga points for going even higher. Just if it makes it any better, you may even want to close your eyes and just be more in tune to your own senses, what the body's telling you. Feel the breath. All right, so let's awaken the IT band, the iliac tibia. So let's slightly rotate that left heel toward the right side, just a slight. All right, I don't know about you, but I feel it. So as it stays there, giving you some interesting sensation. Again, if the sensation is any kind of numbness or tingling, please back out. You can always change the angle back to almost straight. But if it just feels like something's stretching, that's fine. Now, if you want, you can allow that left leg to rotate, to cross over the center line of your body slightly more. You can feel the IT band go a little bit more. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. If you want to just try to keep your mind from that left leg, you may even see if you can spread out the toes of your right foot while it's in this position. Your left foot, of course, the toes are kind of like being held by the strap. The strap's actually at the arches, but still no reason to try to activate those toes and those muscles. Let's rotate your heel back, bring it back to center, and then if you want, you can bring both straps into your left hand. Your choice, right hand on the right hip or below the bum, and see where you can keep the pressure onto that bum, and slowly open up the left leg. So you're working those left hip flexor. A nice ball and socket joint. So you're using your strap to kind of hold it in, putting a little bit of pressure into that ball and socket joint, really good, and also opening up. So you're getting that nice mobility. Keep your breathing, your beautiful breath, inhale and exhale. Slowly, we're going to bring that left leg back up. Bend the right knee, bend the left knee, and bring both knees to your chest. You can remove that strap from you. Hug both knees to your chest. If you want, you can even lift your chin up, tuck your chin down, maybe bring your forehead to your knees, if that feels good. And then as you go back down, again, one quick happy baby. And I want you to feel what happens when you rock side to side on your happy baby. Really feel to see if you can get the side of your body, even onto perhaps your hip. And feel how unstable that may be. All right. All right. Let's bring that left foot down, and your right knee is toward your chest. So, a couple things. We're going to now work on the quads as well and glutes. So, I'd like for you to now hug your right knee to your chest. See how close it is here. As tight as it's there, take notice how the right knee, how close it is to your chest. Now, I want you to remove your hands, but keep your knees still as close as possible. And now bring your hands underneath, so it's above your thigh, but underneath your calf. Does that make sense? So we're trying to stick it between the, almost like underneath your knees, kneecap area. Okay, so we're hugging, very good. Now hugging your knees to your chest, but now they're underneath there. I want you to see what happens. You keep the knees toward your chest, but you're slowly starting to straighten your right leg. So you're trying to straighten, but keep the knee toward your chest. You may feel some resistance, good. See how high you can get that right foot to the sky, with your right knee still to your chest. So you might feel some shaking, and then exhale, bring the right knee back down toward your right hip. Inhale, we're going to raise it back up. And as you exhale, just bend at the kneecap. So as you're bending at the joint, bring your right heel to your glute. Good. Again, you're hugging that knee toward your chest. Inhale, raise just the leg, the right leg, but keeping the knee still toward your body. Hug it in. Good. You're going to feel some resistance. So it's like a fight. So whenever one side of the muscle contracts, the other one's actually is so it's that muscle between the two. Exhale it down. Inhale one more time. Exhale it down. Now we're going to slowly bring the right ankle over toward your left knee. And then cross it kind of that figure four. Now if you can, lift that left leg up. So we're going to have your left calf parallel to the floor. If you want, you can flex that left foot as if it's stepping on a wall, an invisible wall. And then you may feel it in your right hip. This is kind of like when we do our pigeon. If you want, you can actually bind your hands. You can place your right hand between the legs, the crossing through, and then interlace your fingers behind your left thigh. That may or may not be an option. Okay. You can always use a strap if you want. Just be kind to yourself. Inhale, and as you exhale, maybe you might want to bring your left leg close to you. Now, take notice what's happening to your right leg, your right hip, when you're gently inviting your left leg closer. So be kind. You don't want to force anything too strong. Keep breathing. After a couple breaths, perhaps you notice it opens up a little bit more. You can bring your left leg even closer, or maybe you can feel the right hips loosening up a little bit more. if you feel like your left hand has a pretty good grip of your left leg, you may want to even remove your right hand and then gently place it on the inner part of your right leg and just gently push the right leg away from you. Just gently. You're not really pushing it right on the joint, but right above the knee. Just push it gently away from you. You can feel a little bit of expansion there. You drop your left leg down on the floor and allow your right knee to fall a little bit further away from you. Beautiful. Let's switch sides. So right foot on the mat, with your left knee to your chest. You're going to interlace your fingers above that left calf first. Hug it real closely. You feel how close it is. And check your shoulder blades, check your jaw, check your neck. You want to slightly tuck your chin down so you can see, maybe peek at your knee. If your knee feels like it's nice and close, keep an eye on where that left knee is relative to your body, and then see if you can switch your fingers from above the calf to below the calf in your thighs. So you're going to try it out. Bring it back in. I switch sides, so from above now to below, hugging that left knee to your chest. So like, oh good, I got it a little bit closer. I'm going to do the same thing. You're going to feel the difference between the calf muscles, even perhaps the hamstring as well. So as you inhale, start lifting your left foot up, trying to keep that knee toward your chest, but trying to straighten that knee, and straighten that leg. And as you exhale, slowly bring that heel back down. So your heel is down toward your glutes, so not to the floor. So your hands are interlaced, but holding your knee to your chest. Now as we inhale, we're going to lift our left foot, but remember you're still hugging that left knee toward your chest up. Keep breathing here. And as you exhale, slowly bend at that knee, and your heel's going to go to your glute, your left glute. So make sure you're interlacing your fingers to hold it as you inhale up. And as you exhale, back down. Let's bring your left heel, or left ankle to the top of your right knee. Feel a nice stretch there. And then if it's possible for you, lift that right knee up, flex that right foot, and you can take the bond by sticking your left hand through the little figure four and interlace your fingers toward each other. So perhaps you can start bringing that right knee toward your chest just a little bit. Go slowly. You feel the stretch along your left hip flexor. Everyone's going to be a little bit different, and you're going to definitely feel a difference between one side to the other side. And for some people, they may even feel it along their knees. Feel what happens if you flex even your left foot. Maybe the left knee feels a little bit different. And as you're breathing here, maybe it feels like it's more open, and perhaps you can bring it even closer. And then when we're ready, we're going to release our fingers from each other. Allow the right foot to go onto the mat. You place your left hand on top of that inner side of your leg and push it away from each other. So you have that option to push it farther away from yourself and you feel the difference. Now we were able to open up the hip flexor, but in certain angles of it. Now let's release the left foot from our right knee and place it down on the ground. And then if you want, you can either do Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet toward each other, touching each other, laying here. Now, if it's too intense for your lower back, you can always place your hips on top of your hands, your palms facing downward. Feel what happens when you're laying on there. You feel a little bit more comfortable on your lower back. And I like for you to sense what happens when your soles of feet are touching each other and you start pressing the soles of feet toward each other. When you press that, feel what muscle is engaging now. So we're pressing your feet toward each other. Keep breathing. And relax. And then we're going to bring the knees up toward each other. Release, if you were laying on top of your hands, release that out. And then lift both feet up toward the sky, legs up the wall. So options, you can have the feet just here, or if you want, you can always put a strap on top of it. It helps you with that sensation. And then to do that slight little heart opener, I'd like for you to bring your heels back down. And if you want, you can place a block underneath your chest. So here's that heart opener. So you don't need to have a block. The other thing you can use is blankets. You can roll it up, stack it up higher. So this is what we call the fish pose. You can even have a pillow, cushions, and stuff like that. So what happens is you can place one block underneath the area, I call it your cross strap, and you place your head down. That's one of the common areas. For me, I always feel it's a little too intense, so I like to either put another block or perhaps a pillow or some blankets on there. So that's an option as well. So this is doing the heart opener. You have the option to have the soles of the feet toward each other or kind of like in Shavasana. So what's going to happen is we will probably do this for a minute, doing this nice heart opener. And then afterwards, we'll switch into Shavasana. So the standard fish pose would be having, even with just your elbows underneath your shoulders, and then reaching back and dropping your head back. But I feel like from a more restorative way, having a block underneath your shoulders or the chest area and or pillow is much more restorative. And what will happen here is we're going to invite to go into a Shavasana. You can go on to your own Shavasana, that it will time out here, and then I will actually reinitiate, and I can bring you guys through a guided
meditation if you prefer. So when we time out, if you want to just stay in your own Shavasana, you're more than welcome to, or if you